Hello and welcome again to Love's Isis. Today we have alternatives to Sistrums. Sistrums are a traditional instrument that is used in Kemeticism. And one of the things, of course, with Sistrums is if you want to buy something online, they're pretty expensive. I think the cheapest one is about $40. You can make it yourself. There actually is a couple of online sources. There's Following the Sun and also the book Circle of Isis, which also has instructions into making a system. Unfortunately, I am pretty technically deficient, and I really haven't tried working on one, but I'm pretty sure a disaster. So I wanted to jump into honoring the gods and also using sound and music in my ritual. So I kind of went with kind of some old Buddhist sources, and they typically use a bell, and you can kind of see the bells right here. I have two types of bells. I usually use bells when it's late at night or you don't want a lot of sound. You're afraid you're going to disturb somebody, wake somebody up, because bells are these types of bells are pretty soft. You don't have to worry about them making too much sound, or if you're living with someone, you don't have to worry about making a huge racket. Okay, this one is a glass bell, pretty cheap. Got this a couple of years ago, and I typically use this late at night when it's, quiet and you don't want to be making loud sound. You can make just a tiny bit of sound here. See? You could barely even hear it. Okay? Brass, I tend to like the sound of brass a lot better than glass. Glass is kind of soft and kind of jingly. Brass is a lot louder, makes more statement, rings a lot louder, and has a warmer sound to it. So that's really nice. If you want to kind of go more with kind of a stick instrument, which is a little more typical of a sistrum. When I first also started out, again, I didn't have a lot of money to buy sistrums, so I came up with this jingle bell instrument that is pretty, makes a jingly sound, and also is good for those sort of rituals, where you want to kind of beat out a sound and they jingle. People sometimes don't like those because it reminds them too much of Christmas and jingle bells. So I stopped kind of using that for a while. And this one is perhaps the closest we can get to, I would say, kind of like a sistrum type of instrument. This is made by Meinl, and it's actually kind of brass. It has brass ringers to it. Very bright, jingly sound. Can make quite a lot of noise, though. So if you have to worry about staying quiet or something, you might want to keep quiet and not use this, but this makes a lot of dramatic sound. But you also can kind of gauge it a little bit and make a soft jingly sound, kind of sound. Kind of like this. So this is also kind of my go-to for sistrums right now. Pretty cheap, $20. Like the brass sound, very bright, very warm. They're also nickel plated, silver coated. Again, I'm not endorsing Meinl, but they also have like a racket shape, which is actually pretty close to the typical sistrum. It's kind of a loop format, and you can actually find that as well. It's called a racket tambourine. So just look under Meinl for racket tambourine if you want that. And again, pretty affordable, about 20 bucks. And they still kind of give you that same sort of ringing sound of a sistrum without going through all the trouble of making your own sistrum or paying top dollar for one. So again, this is Love's Isis, and I hope this was a good help to you. And take care.